Well, this is a bit of a novelty, isn't it? I'm here sat in my garage all on my own, Billy No Mates, and there's a very odd reason for that. It's towards the end of June now. I'm starting to think about doing my end of month video for you on solar generation and energy usage. And there's an element that I wanted to cover separately. I was thinking about including it, but the way I normally go, the video would probably end up being too long and too large. So I thought I would try and do the video today, and I was thinking about where to go. Where can I film this introduction for you? And the house was too noisy. Susan's cooking and Charlotte's making a lot of noise. There's a lot of wind outside. It's really windy today. So I tried to go out in the gazebo, and that doesn't work. And yeah, well, I'm talking about the garage because partly the garage where I'm sat now is part of what I want to discuss, but it's actually the quietest place around in the house, so hopefully this works for you. Anyway, to point out a couple of things, let's see what we've got. We've got the battery down there. That's the Pure Drive 4.8 kilowatt hour battery. My Eddy device is there, working away. It looks like it's just about to come on actually and heat some hot water. That's from My Energy. Up here we have my Solace inverter, 3.6 kilowatt inverter. That's the dongle that comes out of the back, Wi-Fi, and sends all the data to the internet for me. And that's my Solar Edge inverter, 2 kilowatts for my second array of solar panels. And then all of these boxes are the junction boxes, the isolation switches for all of these devices to make it all safe. And what else have we got that you can see in here? Well, this is a bit of DIY. This is me. This is the Modbus, the Wattnode Modbus that connects to the Solar Edge inverter. It's the thing that the CT clip connects to, which is up here somewhere, connecting, looking at the grid energy, and it comes to this device. And then from this device, the Modbus goes into the Solar Edge inverter, and that's what gives me energy consumption. It can see the import and export of the house. That's basically my configuration. The reason for this video is when I first saw there might be some temperature issues, and I shot a little bit of video while I was looking at the data on the Victron VRM application. So let's have a look at that now.
Just thought I'd have a look at the VRM advanced data for the Pure Drive battery that I have. Since we've had a couple of really hot days outside, it must be, I'm not sure, in the wind outside it's probably 23-24 degrees C outside, but sat inside your car it's probably going to be 30-35 degrees in there. It's bright sunshine, it's really hot if you're not out in a breeze. So anyway, my battery is inside my garage. It's not a particularly hot garage, it's not a particularly cool garage either. There isn't a through draft in there. So I thought I'd have a look at the temperature and see what's going on, and lo and behold, the last 2 days have been very hot, and you can see here from the chart the last 2 days, including today, on this battery temperature chart, the battery has stayed mostly above 30 degrees C during the day, and it looks like it spiked at what, I don't know, that looks like about 35 to 36 degrees C. So my first immediate thought is, if the ideal temperature for battery charging is in the mid-20s, then obviously because the battery is being run down more during these really hot days, in that I'm running a air conditioning unit into the evening using some of the battery, so there's more battery kilowatt hours to replenish during the charging process is taking longer, and the longer it's charging, the more heat is putting into the battery. So partly it's because of the hot day, but partly it's because it's being used more and more energy is going through it. So two things are crossing my mind. One, in these really hot conditions, could I and should I reduce the charge limit on the battery so that it's not charging at up to 2 kilowatts? Let's say it only charges at 1 kilowatt of power. Therefore it'll take longer to charge, but would it be kinder to the battery? Would it not increase the temperature? And we see those sharp increases of temperature as the charging increases. The other thing is there is a battery cover all over the battery. I'm wondering whether I should remove the cover and let a little bit more air in towards the battery, in that during the winter I did a test and I added some insulation around that cover, and it helped raise the temperature of the battery to the more optimal level. So maybe I should do the opposite now and reduce the insulation that's around the battery and let more air to it. So anyway, if we have a look at some of these other graphs for the last couple of days, You can see here on this one that the really big dip's down towards 30%. It's showing that I've used so much of the battery overnight and into first thing in the morning, we've got down to almost 30%. But it's a good example of the difference between these days in the early part of the week where I haven't been using as much energy and we're getting down to 60-70% state of charge overnight, and yet the really hot days where I've had the air conditioning unit on, I've been able to get the benefit of using more electricity in the night and still not paying for it. There's plenty of charge in the battery and it's recharged again the next day. So it's the perfect use of the battery, being able to do things overnight with your energy and electricity without having to pay for it, without having to draw energy from the grid.
So I'm quite happy to leave the pure drive casing off slightly. No one's coming in here, it's completely safe, nothing's going to be going anywhere near it. I'm just curious as to whether better ventilation would help it in the summer, because better insulation would definitely help it in the winter. So maybe just this cover isn't perfect, but a little bit more customization with some vents that could open perhaps on the top, perhaps that would help a little bit better. So let's have a look at the temperatures. So 38 on the inverter, over on the battery casing 35 degrees, so pretty hot in there. 32 on the back casing. Let's see if we can get the bottom. 33 down on the battery. 33, 34. See if we can find any other positions. 38, 36. So yeah, the top of the inverter is the hottest there at 37, 38 degrees. And right there is where the air vents are, look, so obviously that's where it's expecting to be the hottest from the back of the inverter. Just for comparison, let's have a look at the Solar Edge inverter. Front case, 38 degrees, 40 degrees. And the Solace, whoa, 49, 50 degrees. That is pretty hot. Obviously there's a lot more power going through the 3.6 kilowatt Solace inverter than there is on the Solar Edge inverter. Very interesting. My Eddy device, only 29-30, but that's actually not heating, so 30 degrees. Fridge, which is not on, so it gives us an idea of the temperature in the room, 28 degrees. So almost 30 degrees in this garage, so no wonder we've gone above 30 degrees on the battery.
One of the benefits of having that heat in the garage is that our hot water cylinder tank is also in the garage, this Heat Ray Sadia Megaflow tank. Basically what I've noticed is that first thing in the morning we haven't lost a lot of temperature overnight. It's only taking 1 kilowatt hour or less of energy to heat the hot water back up to temperature. So because it's already 30 degrees in the garage, the hot water isn't losing a huge amount of temperature. More energy saved. But I'm not sure those high temperatures getting near 40 degrees are good for the battery. So my efforts to try and reduce the temperature of the battery started from around here. And overnight that definitely had a positive effect in that the temperature reduced down into the mid to high 20s. And then the temperature increase the next morning was a little more gradual as well, with a lower charge rate. So nothing major, no major improvements, but enough to make a little difference. So personally, if I was designing the battery cover for this pure drive battery, I would add a few more pieces of ventilation that can be opened or closed. And this is the reason why I'm interested in temperature at all, because if you look at studies of lithium batteries, one of the common factors are that the number of cycles that they give you are warranted based on certain parameters, and one of those is temperature. The higher the temperature, the more degradation you're going to experience, the less time the battery will last. So in my view, it's a precious item. It's worth a lot of money. It's cost me a lot of money, so I want to look after it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little bit of information, this little bit of background research that I'm doing into battery temperatures while it's really hot here in the UK. Thanks for watching as always, and see you again soon. Bye bye for now.